became interested in fashion as soon as I learned there were sparkly things in life. So I would say my ruby red slippers, I bought 5 pairs, and I wore those for approximately 3 years because there's no place like home and there's nothing like drama. I would say that I wanted to be a performer, a ballerina. So when I was able to play a party girl in the Nutcracker, I felt like that was my coming of age story. As soon as I put on the pantaloons and I had a corset, I had this overwhelming zeal and also an anxiety, realizing, number one, who I wanted to be, and number two, I was extremely strange. And then I wanted to live in the modern Renaissance for the rest of my life, and I wasn't interested in anything else. I would consider myself a free spirit, but when it comes to creative projects, it's the only way that I measure my own success. So when I put myself out there, it feels a lot like putting myself in a cheese grater, and then people get to see my insides, and I don't get to control the outcome. And that really bothers me and also excites me. I think personal style to me means that you feel completely centered. It kind of brings me back to like being at bar and ballet, that feeling of alignment. So when I'm wearing something that doesn't feel true to who I am, it feels like a costume. So I can be wearing sequins and feathers in my hair. I feel closer to who I am there than I would be to a pair of jeans. So I'm really just trying to find those outliers in the world and give them a space where they can express themselves and feel completely comfortable in their skin. And maybe show to other people that just because you're feminine doesn't make you weak. What scares me the most about making things that are in my head is that I will not be able to fulfill my own fantasy, because I think I tend to take myself too seriously.
Interesting how many songs are written about love where they're not in the same place.
The greatest challenge I have when it comes to making clothes or designs in general is just the technical aspect. I just feel like there's like so many gaps. I've never been someone who likes to follow rules. So the idea that making clothes is black and white, whether you sewed on the line, whether you didn't, whether you cut on the grain, whether you didn't, that's what keeps me from feeling like I can fulfill what I set out to do. My breakup changed everything about my creative process. I feel like there's a fire inside of me that wasn't there before, giving myself the space to realize that I'm autonomous. And so I was downgrading my dreams in order to fit their reality. My creative process usually stems from things that I've already made or things that I've already digested. I go through my quote books, I have folders and piles of designs, and then I like to do like a cross match. So I spend a lot of time on Canva, putting things together. I like to make a graphic design of like the overall mood and aesthetic, and like I like to write like a short story about the woman that would be wearing it. It's very important to me that everything I make means something to me, even if it doesn't to anyone else. I think I've learned that I have to try to do, number one. Number two, there is no perfection, and that's okay. And finishing these 2 dresses, I think it will give me permission to myself. I think the fear of femininity comes from the idea that it makes you soft, it makes you weak, docile. I mean, the list goes on for things that make women feel less than. What I hope that my designs communicate to the world is you should be as much as of yourself as you possibly can. There's no capacity on how feminine one can be. And that you're never too much because you can always grow.